Hi, I'm disability lawyer David Brannon, founder and managing lawyer here at Resolute Legal. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how you can avoid having to pay the insurance company's legal fees in a long-term disability claim. Now, if you like this video, hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe as we have these videos coming out a few times a week, and leave us your comments. We'd love to get those comments. So if you're involved or you're thinking about getting involved in a lawsuit against a long-term disability insurance company, one of the number one things on your mind, I am sure, because this is one of our biggest questions we get, is how can I avoid the risk of having to pay the insurance company's legal expenses? One of the first things you'll find out when you're hiring a lawyer to go after an insurance company is if we win the case, they pay towards your legal fees. However, if we lose the case, you have to pay their legal fees. This comes as a big shock to a lot of people because you probably are hiring your lawyer on a no-win, no-fee kind of situation. So you've got it in your mind that you only pay if you only have to pay if you win, but that's not completely true. If you lose the case, yeah, you don't have to pay your own lawyers anything, but you can be ordered to pay the insurance company sometimes a substantial amount of money. We're talking in cases that go to a trial, you could be ordered to pay $50,000, $75,000, $100,000, hundreds of thousands, depending on how complicated and big your case is. So many people want to know, how do I avoid that risk? Like, how do I take this case on and know that I'm not going to have to be stuck paying the insurance company's legal fees? So what I would say to you is that there's always some risk that you will have to pay the insurance company's legal fees if you're bringing a lawsuit against them. You'd only ever have to pay their legal fees in two situations. If you lose the court case, or you drop the case, or sometimes during the court case you have to do these little mini sessions with the judge where they have to make a ruling on something. Sometimes in those little mini sessions the judge can order a small amount of legal fees to be covered for just that little thing, but that's not something to worry so much about. It's more that if you're going to lose the case or have to drop the case. So what I would say to you is if you want to manage the risk, you have a lot of control over it. And so you can have the choice on how much risk of paying these other legal fees as you want to take on. So the easiest way to avoid the risk altogether is just don't sue them. Don't even start this lawsuit. If there's anything questionable about your case and you have a fear of having to pay out legal fees to the insurance company, then just don't do the case. That happened recently. Actually this week, at the time of shooting this video, we had someone who contacted us. We felt there was an injustice there, but because of the timelines and deadlines and all these kind of things, we suggested that there was a high risk that this case could be thrown out of court and they could have to pay $10,000 or so in legal fees. So that person chose not to go forward. So that is your first line of defense, is to just not go forward with the case. Now, I don't want to discourage you from going forward with cases where you have merit, where it's a legitimate case, there's a good chance you can win. There's still an ability for you to manage your risk. So how that works is, as the case moves forward, there usually are going to be opportunities for you to reach a settlement with the insurance company out of court. And in these settlements, sometimes they're good settlements, sometimes they're not great settlements. But you can control your risk by at any point accepting a settlement from the insurance company. You can be getting close to trial, they can make a settlement offer to you. Maybe it's not a great settlement offer. But if you're worried about paying legal costs, you can always just accept that offer and then you have no risk, the case is over, but you limit your risk of having to pay any legal costs. So that is a way that you can limit your costs throughout the lawsuit. And quite frankly, insurance companies up to a point will offer you basically to say, we won't pay you anything, but if you drop the lawsuit now, we won't come after you for legal costs. So that out is usually given, it's not always, but usually given to people at various points of the lawsuit. So when you get to that point where things are looking questionable, you're worried, and the insurance company makes that offer, then you have the ability to get out at that point, okay? And you'll be able to get out of the lawsuit without having to pay the insurance company's legal fees. So normally when someone is going to have a real risk of paying these fees, it's because they have chosen to take that risk. So you may get to a point in the lawsuit where you don't want to accept that out of court offer. They're refusing to pay they're refusing to approve your claim, and you're going to go ahead to trial and get a final decision. If you make the decision to go to that trial, then you're also making the decision to say, I'll take on the risk that if we lose, I have to pay their legal fees. But that's a conscious risk you can take on. And up until that point, you would have had likely chances to settle the case before that. Almost certainly you would have had chances to settle the case before that, so you've intentionally taken on that risk. So what I would say to you is, when you're starting the lawsuit, unless the lawyer thinks that it is quite a frivolous or a far-fetched situation right from the get-go. If that's the situation, you may want to consider just not doing the case. But if the lawyer says you have a valid case and the case is moving along, then just assess your risk as you go. At any point you can accept a settlement offer and there goes your risk. You've accepted a settlement, you won't have any risk to pay the other side's legal fees. I don't want to overstate this risk to you, because as long as you're reasonable and at some point take a settlement offer, then there's no risk at all. You've mitigated the risk because the settlement means you don't have to pay anything. I've been a lawyer and doing long-term disability claims for over 15 years. And during that time, I'm trying to think, I may have had one instance where my client was ordered to pay legal costs. And in the hundreds and hundreds of cases that I've handled, clients have not had to pay legal costs. Now, that doesn't mean that you won't have to pay legal costs, but it shows you that it is a rare thing to happen. It means that you had to have charged ahead and gone to court willing to take the chance. So it shouldn't discourage you from starting a case and moving forward with it, because most cases will either get approved during the lawsuit and you'll have your benefits, or you'll negotiate some type of settlement with the insurance company. And it's a small sliver of a fraction of cases that actually go to court. And if a case is going to court, it's because you chose to go to court. And if you're choosing to go to court because you're rejecting settlement offers, then you're taking on that risk of cost. So it's important to know that you have control over this. It shouldn't prevent you from starting the case from the get-go. So in summary, you have complete control over limiting your risk of having to pay these legal costs to the insurance company. You do that by not bringing a frivolous lawsuit or ones that are very far-fetched. You also can control it during the case by accepting settlement offers at various points of the lawsuit. And I can't guarantee that there will always be settlement offers there, but I have very few cases where the insurance company will not at least give you the out where they say, drop the case and we won't come after you for legal costs. There you go. You don't get any money, but you're also not have to pay anything out. That offer will generally be there at some point, and you will have a choice at that point to get out of the lawsuit. So you can control the risk. It should not prevent you from starting these cases. You just have to be smart and make sure that you're really talking with the lawyer about the risks and the chances of success throughout the case so you can make the best decision for you. Now, if you like this video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We have these videos coming out a few times a week. Leave us your comments, especially on this topic, because of how difficult it is and how stressful it is for people who are dealing with this cost issue. And we'll see you back here next time.